Yo guys, Spiderbot here with the Easter egg tutorial on die rides for Maxis. We have done Richthofen previously, and if you're only going to do one of them, I suggest doing Richthofen because it is definitely the easier of the two. This one is for Maxis. The first three steps are exactly the same both for Richthofen and Dr. Maxis. And remember, if you've previously completed one of the Easter eggs, if you complete Richthofen, then you can't do Richthofen over again until you do Maxis, and then Richthofen, then Maxis, etc. Sort of the same thing that we had on Transit. But let's get right to the steps, and here we go. There are a series of 4 Chinese symbols, gold Chinese symbols, that are located on top of 4 elevators in die rides. 2 in the spawn building and 2 in the radio tower building. The first one I'm going to show you is the one that I jump on, and it happens to be where Quick Revive is here, just outside the 2 double doors from the main starting area. Alright, the second one is located down the escalator stairs coming out of spawn, and take a right. It happens to be where our Who's Who perk machine is located. Remember, the perk machines can change positions. Alright, we're going to go over to the tower building. The third symbol is located on this elevator where you see the 2 elevators sort of side by side. It's the one on the left where double tap happens to be, and Axel's going to jump on that one. The fourth and final symbol is located on top of the elevator that's just down the ramp on top of the tower building. And Mankiller is going to jump on that one. Now, it has to be timed. You all have to be on those symbols at the same time. This definitely does take a little bit of coordination and communication. You can use the keys that you find down at the bottom of the freight elevator to try and time it better so that you can bring the elevators, ideally, bring them all to the top level of your respective buildings or elevator shafts at the same time, and then I'll jump on them. Otherwise, you just have to be careful because each elevator does go up into a position where you can get crushed. Once you do that, the symbols will light up and you will get a Dr. Maxis quote.
The alignment has begun. You are on the right path. Please, continue. You must trigger the symbols in the correct order. An order that only trial and error will reveal.
Alright, step 2 is activating the additional Chinese symbols that are found on the floors of the buildings. Again, there are 2 in the main spawn building and 2 in the radio tower building. The first 4 were on the elevators, these 4 are on the floors. What you need to do, you can't jump on them all at the same time. They have to be activated in a certain order, and the order changes, so it's a bit of trial and error. So what you need to do is coordinate 4 players to hit them one at a time, and I'll show you the locations. First symbol location is just outside of the double doors in the spawn area, and it's just on the floor in front of the elevator that I was activating as Stuhlinger. The second location is, I believe it's 3 levels down, and is in, I guess call it the food court area, and it's in the middle of the floor. Hyper's going to be activating that one. The third symbol location is found on the radio tower building, and it's just down from the tower. If you jump down, go up the ramp, you're at the tower, and then jump down to the right-hand side. It's on the ground right there. And then the fourth symbol is on the very lower, well, I guess not the lowest level, but the second lowest level in the radio tower building. It's on the balcony with the blue tarp, and Mankiller is going to be activating that one. Now again, what you have to do is activate them in order, so just have one player try to go onto their symbol. If it lights up, that means that's the first symbol. If it doesn't, then it's not. You keep trying players until you get the first one. Then it's trial and error to get the second one. If you fail, they'll go out. The lights go out. Like when you go on the first one and activate it, it lights up. You go on the second one, it's not the correct one. It won't light up, and it'll turn the first one off. And then that's the same for the third one. If you get the first 2 right and then the third one wrong, they'll all turn off. You have to start over again. You only have so many chances. If you make the incorrect choices too many times, the whole thing will reset and you have to start over. So the one that activated first will no longer activate first. You got to find which one activates first and then start the whole process over again. But it gives you enough tries so that if you're using trial and error and by process of elimination correctly, and you don't make the same mistake more than once, then you should have enough attempts to get it right, even if it takes you the longest to do so. And once you do it in the correct order, this is the quote you get from Maxis.
Excellent. The energy fields are changing, transforming, flowing. You are on the right path.
Okay, for step 3, we're sniping the black orbs from the dragons, and we do get indication earlier on if you buy the SVU off the wall or you get a sniper from the box, and there may be other weapons you get indication from, but I've only heard it from the snipers. You know, Richtofen and or Maxis tell you, hold on to that weapon, guard it with your life. So what we're doing here is sniping the black orbs from the dragon's mouths. And what happens is, as you snipe each one, and you can see the progression on the dragon as well. We're progressing with Richtofen, so you're going to see the blue lights light up, or the blue fireworks come up for the dragon. If you're progressing on Maxis, you'll see them come up orange on the far dragon. And this is the final step that is the same for both Maxis and Richtofen. So we snipe them, and then we find that the balls have actually transferred from the dragon's mouths to under the lion's paws. Now let's see what Maxis has to say after we complete this step.
It is working! The sphere has relocated. Now, one more must be found. Now, find the enlightened one. A blood sacrifice alone is not enough. Reincarnation is key.
All right, next step we're going to look at is step number 4, make a blood sacrifice. Now, the order of these steps, you may be able to switch it around, possibly, but this is the order that we completed in, and this is pretty much the easiest order to do it. What I would suggest is all 4 players ensure you have Juggernog and Double Tap, and then make your way to the Buddha room, and all we are going to do is get a bunch of zombie kills, and I believe that will fulfill Maxis's step number 4, make a blood sacrifice, and then we can look at reincarnation is key. So here's what we get Maxis saying just as we start the slaughter in the Buddha room, and Buddha, again, being the enlightened one, right? So we're in the Buddha room. That's where we got to make the sacrifice, and this is what Maxis says as soon as we get started here.
The energy within the spheres is in flux. Fear not, we will lead them into chaos. Yes, keep going. More blood.
Alright, so we just keep killing zombies, and you can see that here we are in round 12, so it does take a few rounds. It may vary. I know on the Richtofen side, when we're flinging zombies, it varies how many zombies you actually have to fling, so it may vary as to how many zombies you have to kill here. That's why I suggested everybody get Jug and Double Tap, because you don't really want to get downed at this stage of the game. So after you kill enough zombies, you've completed the step, and this is what Maxis has to say, and it's not very clear. I apologize, but I will try to translate for you in text on the video.
Reincarnation will reveal the way forward.
Alright, step number 5, reincarnation is key. What you're going to need here are upgraded ballistic knives. Now, I'm going to show you exactly how we did it and how we thought it originally had to be done. There have been reports from others that you can do it differently, but let's just take a look at exactly how we're doing it. Number 1, I'm Samuel, and I'm the one who have the ballistic knives, and I'm the one who has upgraded them. We have Russman, who is going to down himself, and I, as Samuel, am going to revive him using the Kraus Refibrillator. Now, there have been reports from people that you don't need to have Russman go down. You can just use the Kraus Refibrillator. And what really makes sense to me is that, okay, we've killed all these zombies, and we're sort of reincarnating their souls, and that's what Maxis talks about. So the theories or the reports back that number 1, it could possibly be anybody that gets the upgraded ballistic knives, and you don't necessarily have to revive someone. You just shoot it in on the floor or in that general area that we have done in the Buddha room, and that it would work. But to be on the safe side, this is the way we did it. If it can be performed in another way, leave a comment on the video and I'll update it with an annotation or whatever. Again, if it could be anybody, but just to be on the safe side, again, we did it with Samuel, and we revived Russman, and it worked as long as we completed all the other steps that we have prior to this. All right, so here's what Maxis has to say after we successfully completed step number 5.
Ah, yes, do you see? The energy of their broken souls has been released. The energy fields remain in flux. Matter must be transformed before it can be contained. The spire must be energized with fire and light. Create a field with which to bind it.
All right, on to step number 6, trample steam the orbs. This is the one we had the most trouble with. First thing you want to do is get 2 players to go and grab the orbs that are underneath the lion's paws, and all you have to do is go up to them and hit X, and you have it. There is no indication, however, that you have the orb. So if you do end up losing it somehow, and we have done that, I think one of our players died out, the orb will automatically go back to underneath the lion's paw. So if you don't think you actually have it, go and check the lion's paw. But there's no, visual indication that you have the orb in your possession when you grab it. The trample steam, similar to what we did with Richthofen, where we put the trample steams on the gold zombie symbols and flung zombies at the tower, what we need to do is put 4 trample steams, 1 on each of the lion symbols. I guess the Fu Chow, what do they call them? The Fu Chow dogs? Lions, we'll call them lions. And you have to align it so that the trample steam is facing in the sort of the direction that the lion's head is facing. All right, and what you'll know, which is dissimilar to what Richthofen's step was, when you place a trample steam, if you've placed it in the correct position and orientation, you can no longer pick it up. The only way you can get rid of that trample steam is by throwing a frag or a semtex. I mean, we even tried RPGs and it wouldn't work to destroy them. But whatever, you'd have to destroy it as opposed to pick it up to get rid of it. So you've got 2 on the radio tower building, 1 dislocated down from the tower by the single elevator where you can't really get back up onto the rooftop. You have to go back down underneath and near that box location. The second one is over by the set of 2 elevators on top of the radio tower building. The other 2 symbols are located in the spawn building. One is in the spawn room, and the second is 1 floor down on the level where you get the PDW 57. Now, we had a lot of trouble with this. What you need to do, and this is what worked for us because we tried numerous times, you're flinging the orbs, and that's how you're powering up the tower in order to get to the next step where you need to melee it with the galvanuckles. But you need to fling these orbs, and what happens when you place down the trample steams, once they're placed and they're set, we found that you can't actually go up to it and hit X. You won't get the option to place the ball, and that's what you want. What we ended up having to do, and we did this, I mean, we did it a lot through trial and error. What I would suggest you guys do, similar to us, the 2 players that don't have the orbs, go on to the radio tower building and place their 2 trample steams first, and ensure, again, when they place them, that they can't pick them up, and that will provide you with verification that they've placed in the correct position. And then the other 2 players are in the spawn building side. Place them down, and as you place them down, as the trample steam is loading, is springing back or moving back in order to get into spring position, you'll get the option to place the ball. And then what you do, both players hit X to place the ball, and then the balls go flinging. And as soon as that happens, as soon as the first fling, and that's what happened to me because the zombie ended up destroying the flinger. I mean, the flinger wasn't even set and the ball still launched anyway, and then we got to the next step. But like I said, we had a lot of problems with it, and we had to destroy a lot of our trample steams. So just make sure you have some points. If you do need to destroy the trample steams, there are semtexes just to the side of the tower. If you go to the tower building and just drop down, towards the where the other lion symbol is, there's semtexes right on the wall, and if you need to destroy the trample steams and just go get another one, then use the semtexes. So that's what we did, and that's what worked for us, but we were on this step for quite some time trying to figure out the best way to do this. And this is what Maxis has to say afterwards.
Stand, charge in hand. Only then will the spire be ours.
Our seventh and final step is meleeing the tower posts in the correct sequence with the Galvanuckles. This is exactly the same as we did with Richthofen, and you define the order in which you need to melee the posts on the tower in the same way. You use the Mahjong symbols. You can do this by trial and error. I think what happens, though, when we were doing it initially with Richthofen, if you do it in the incorrect sequence, the posts, the lights that around the post disappears, and you can't do it until the next round when the lights come back. So, I mean, you could do it by trial and error. There are only 24 combinations, so if you can only do it once per round, then it would take you 24 rounds. Possibly, if, you know, it's the last one that you did was the correct one. Or you can use the Mahjong tiles to tell you what order to hit the posts in. Now, I have a full guide for the Mahjong tiles. If you want to take a look at that, I'm not going to cover it here. Then click the link in the description or annotation. Otherwise, we're going to assume that we've gone through and looked at Mahjong tiles and we know exactly which order to hit the posts in. And remember, the post that there's a Mahjong tile on one of the corners of the post, and it's I think 99% of the time or 100% of the time it's always north. It may be a different color and it may be a different order in which you melee that post, but it's always north, so you know that that post of the tower is the north post. And then once you melee the tower posts in the correct sequence, yay, we get it completed, Easter egg done. And we get our high maintenance achievement, although we already had it with Richthofen, so we don't get it. But you might if Maxis was your first Easter egg to complete and you didn't have the achievements. That's it, guys. That is the compilation for Maxis' side of the Easter egg for Die Rise and your high maintenance achievement. Hope it helps you guys out. Had a lot of fun doing it, and we're going to do it a couple more times as well. We haven't been through it. We've done Richthofen twice now. We haven't been through Maxis again. But yeah, that one step where you're reviving Rustman is the one that we really want to try and nail down and see if you just throw an upgraded ballistic knife just into the room without reviving anybody and having anybody have it equipped as a weapon, that you can complete that step. But we'll see. Anyways, that's it for now. Stay tuned for more. Spider-Bite out.